One of the most conspicuous concepts in Judaism is the matter of purity and impurity. I travel a lot around the world and I see that in many places, the mikveh, the traditional Jewish bath, were one of the first characteristics of a Jewish place. Meaning, even non-Jews always knew, okay, this is a Jewish mikveh. Meaning, we know that it's something that's rooted deep in our tradition, and today we'd like to talk about the inner meaning, the Kabbalah take on these concepts, these very seemingly well-known, but maybe not truly understood concepts of purity and impurity. Suppose there are animals that are considered impure, there is the impurity of the dead, a cemetery is considered an impure place, therefore when you go out, you wash your hands. We know that when a woman has her period, she's considered impure, and so on and so forth. So the first question is, what is impurity? According to the wisdom of Kabbalah, anything that has to do with the will to receive, that works for its own benefit, is called impurity, on different degrees, starting with the tiniest will to receive to the biggest will to receive. From a will to receive that's working only for its own benefit, and to the extent to which it is involved, engaged in this work of pulling everything for its own benefit from its environment. It means that it becomes more and more impure. And any work that the will to receive does, which is no longer with the intention in order to receive for itself, for its own benefit, for its own pleasure, but in order to bestow, to do good to others, and through others to the Creator, that is called purity. Bestowal, love, care for others, everything which is outside the framework of the will to receive. And the difference between them is really like the difference between the plus and the minus. The desire is working in the other direction, but it's always the desire. The Creator created a desire. That is the matter of creation. The only thing that exists in creation is the desire, and this desire works in different ways, according to which we measure, is this an impure or a holy desire, pure desire, and on what degree? So, again, simply put, what is a pure and impure desire? An impure desire cares for itself, a pure desire cares for others, for whatever is outside of itself. Does impurity point at some kind of a flaw, corruption? Impurity points at a flaw, at a corruption that exists within the will to receive, which is its intention in order to receive, according to which it exists at the expense of others. Now, we also have to say that in our world, if we're talking about our world, we live in a material world, in the world of matter. So, the matter of the still, the vegetative, and the animate, which includes our biological body, is unrelated to in order to receive or in order to bestow, to give. Because it's matter. This is how it works from nature. This is how it's operated by nature. And therefore, when we're talking about matter, we're not talking about the still, the vegetative, or the animate, but we're talking about the desire that exists in a human being. And it's not a desire that pertains to a person, to his animate body, where he's concerned with his existence, but to the desire that's beyond that. And so we examine a person. How does he operate in those desires which aren't a necessity, which aren't praised or condemned, but a desire that a person can operate either because he wants to enjoy his environment beyond his basic needs, or he wants to delight his environment. And only in this area do we measure whether the desire is pure or impure. Just to see if I get this, you're saying that in the system of nature there's the still vegetative, animate, and people. And people, they also belong to the animate world. Okay, all these creatures that exist and are operated instinctively by nature are irrelevant to the definitions of a pure or impure desire. What are they relevant to? Only human beings. No, not only human beings, but to a man's free desire. This is exactly what I want to ask. A person has two levels in life. Everything that he needs for his animate body, yeah, like any other animal that needs food, shelter, basic physiological needs, food, sex, family. Yeah, a person's basic needs, what he needs in order to exist, we don't talk about that. What we're talking about is, after I have a human being and he has his basic needs, he has additional desires by which he can turn the wheel either at the expense of others for my own benefit or for the benefit of others. If I have received from others for my own benefit and I have exploited the others, then I have used my impure desires. If I'm working to benefit, to love others, that means that I activate my pure desires. It's the same desires depending on how you operate them. They're pure or impure. Same desires. Yeah, the desire itself, it's neutral. The only question is, what's your intention? Why am I using it? Turns it into pure or impure? Okay, you're talking about a desire all the time. And you're saying that there are desires that I can either use them to benefit others, or with a bad intention called impure, where then I exploit others. So what is this raw material called desire? A deficiency, chisaron in Hebrew. The will to enjoy. What do I enjoy? So, can you explain, what am I scrutinizing here? What do I enjoy? The question here is, if we examine, if we study a person, we see that his inner matter is the will to receive delight and pleasure. The will to receive delight and pleasure to the extent to which he needs it in order to exist, which is food, sex, and family. These are the ordinary desires that all other animals have. Let's call it bodily desires, that if a person uses them in a way that he doesn't harm others, but he needs it in order to serve his own existence, his corporeal existence, bodily existence. This is neither considered purity or impurity. All the rest of a person's desires that he can use in order to exploit others for his own benefit or for the benefit of others by exploiting himself for the benefit of others. This has to do with purity or impurity. If he uses himself for the benefit of others, that's called sanctity, purity. If he uses others for his own benefit, that's called impurity, a klipa, a shell, and this is how it's all divided. either in this or in that direction. Very simple. So the will to receive, as is neither pure or impure. For desire itself is nothing. It's a given from nature. But how do you use it? That is not given by nature, but that's up to man. And this is then a person's responsibility. Yes, this is his responsibility. And a person has to divide his desire, each and every desire, and see how he uses it. For the benefit of whom? By the way, what's the connection between the desire and a person's thoughts? They're pure and impure thoughts? Also. But eventually, the main thing isn't the thought. We're talking about the corporeal life, about ordinary people. But we're talking about the desire itself that's carrying out the action. Whereas in the wisdom of Kabbalah, it's a world of thoughts. More correctly put, the world of intentions. How am I intending to use all of my forces? And a person is measured correspondingly.